It's the same thing. It's not even close. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleeds podcast. I'm trying not to hit Adam in the head, and I'm Chris Witt. And with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today, sir?
I'm great, but am I ever ready?
I always say, Adam, you ready to go? Let's do this. And he's like, yep,
yeah.
let's go.
I have no
And then
microphone
I
in front
start
of my
talking.
face. I have no headphones on.
Turn around, and his microphone's behind his head. He hasn't even got his headphones out.
Golly. I might just go no headphones. I might go commando.
You
today.
went no
Podcast
headphones last
commando.
week. You went no headphones last week.
Did I?
Mhm.
Wow.
I noticed part of the way through.
I didn't even. There you go.
You
I
can't
didn't
hear out of
realize.
your headphones when we do this
That's true.
anyway,
That's true.
because this thing that I got hooked up for some reason only lets me hear.
I mean, this thing's a dinosaur at this point.
At this point, I feel like it is. It's time for the studio to get a little rebirth here. Rebirth?
Sure.
Sure, why not? Rum Dum Studios.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Nosebleeds podcast. Today we have we got some good stuff today. I think it should be fun. Adam's got some college stuff. We're going to talk about some college school, just being in school. Student tree. Ooh,
I just made that up.
I love it. Well, you are a college student, so you would know the best lingo out there.
I don't think so, because I just made up a word. So
Or maybe you didn't.
maybe it's real.
Maybe it's
I've
real.
never heard it before, though.
Yeah. Anyway, we also have H. Foley that we did the comedy on. We've got the greatest Saturday Night Live folks to ever be on the show. We've got a little bit of everything. So Adam, let's start the day off. We got a present. A gift from a loyal listener. All I know is that they're here and I've already eaten some, and I don't know who they're from. So what we got, bub?
So every year I play in 2 basketball leagues in the summer. And the commissioner of the one league that I've played in for 20 years up at St. Martin's, where I went to grade school, the commissioner of the league and a player, Eric Gagnon,
Yes.
listens to the podcast every year. I go up there every week and I walk in and he's at the scorer's table taking care of everything. And he's like, and he gives me something like, he's like, man, I love that thing, or here's an idea for a Mount Rushmore, or something like that. He always has something about the podcast.
I love it.
So he's awesome. He listens, and I never assume that anybody's listening.
No, I just figure your dad and my dad listen, and that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, he always has something, some like evidence that he's listening to it.
I love it.
So he knows we do the Reese's. He texted me the other day and he's like, oh, so by the way, so the poor guy is going round and round with St. Martin's is closing after this school year. So in the next month or whatever, they're out. And so now he's trying to deal with the church to reserve the gym, which in the summer, nothing's in there.
Right.
But it's been really hard. I think they don't know what they're going to do with it. They don't, there are some logistics that they're giving him a hard time about.
Okay.
So
I'm sure there's some insurance reasons, and
I guess
they're not insuring certain things probably anymore. So sure.
Probably. I should ask him for more details on that. But so he came back. He sent everybody the email and said, I've been working on it, and finally I think we're going to we were switching days. For years it was Monday, ever since I was in the league. So we're switching to Tuesday. Who's interested? Let's, get our rosters going. A few days later, he comes back and says, they're giving me more trouble. It's more trouble than it's worth at this point. After 32 years, the Cheviot Basketball League is finished.
What?
That's right. That's right.
No.
The school's closing down, and they're
how crazy this is. I thought forever you played at the field house.
They used to play at the field house.
That's where I thought you played at.
I've always played at St. Martin. They've been there at least 20 years because that's how long I've been in the league.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think shortly after they opened, I don't know. Yeah. Probably shortly after they opened, because I was in high school when they opened St. Martin's gym. And I started playing at 21, maybe 21, 22.
I've never been in St. Martin's gym.
Really?
Never.
You're not missing much. but it had like that old, kind of like the old sports mall floor.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
St. Dominic did that.
Did they?
Yeah, they replaced the tile and went to that. I'd rather play on the slippery tiles.
Yeah. Yeah. The linoleum floor.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, so I won't get to see Eric every Monday or Tuesday this year.
Bummer.
But he texted me the other day. He's like, "What's your address? I got a little present for you guys." Uh, and so I sent him my message, my address, and for some reason I was like out of it, and I thought he was going to mail whatever Reese's thing he had. He told me it was this,
Yeah.
and which by the way, Reese's Animal Crackers. If you
And
can see that.
I'm not an Animal Crackers fan, but can I just tell you the peanut butter
You've eaten
chocolate
30 of
animal,
them
I'm
since we
pretty
started.
sure I've had about 30 of them. These are amazing.
They're so
I
good.
don't know what I gave these originally, but I think I would bump the score up or whatever.
I was thinking that too because I didn't wait to open them here. I opened them as soon as I got. So he dropped them off, and I'm like, oh, I'm so stupid. I thought you meant you were mailing them. Anyway, I get home and they're in my mailbox, and I
Nice.
take them in and I open them up right away. I'm like, I remember these being pretty good, and then I ate them, and I was like, I forgot how good these are.
Oh man.
So they're, I mean, I'd go probably 9-8 or something. Like
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's way
Right
up
now.
there.
Yeah.
So anyway, super thoughtful guy. Eric's the best. Thank you, Eric, for number one being the commissioner the last 10 years or whatever it was. There, another guy was running
that's
for a while.
no fun. It's not an easy job. It's thankless.
He's
And
just having teams up at the sports mall. You've done plenty of stuff like this
Mhm.
too. Having to get a group of people together, make sure everybody knows when we're playing, make sure they're going to be there, make sure they have back in the sports mall days, make sure you bring a light and dark shirt.
make sure you pay.
Make sure you pay is the
Good
biggest
God,
thing.
pay.
Chasing people for the money
Mm.
is the worst thing about being in charge of anything like that. And that guy, Eric did it. Eric Gagnon did it for several years and did a great job and always, made sure everything was good to go up there
Yeah.
and it was always under control and we didn't have problems or anything like that. So shout out to Eric. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for the Reese's dipped animal crackers.
Yes.
So good. So that's first and foremost today. Yeah. So there you go.
Big ups.
There's our gift.
Appreciate you, Eric. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Not congratulations.
Longtime Xavier fan and season ticket holder, by the way.
Even better. May 15th is right around the corner. I picked my seats on
Hey.
May 15th.
Hey.
May 15th. 6 days away, my friend. 6 days away.
Beautiful.
I'm a little nervous. Getting nervous. I hope my row's still there. I need my spot.
Well,
need my spot.
Could you get bumped from there?
100%.
Oh, it's just like
This is a reseed. Yeah, it's a reseed year. They're doing a bunch of renovations and they got to take some seats out and add some seats in. So if someone can't have their seat, everyone redraws.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But you might get around better people.
I'm trying to stay in the same row, just move down towards so I can see that corner a little better.
Hopefully you get to upgrade just a little bit and those people get shot up to the ceiling.
They've all been there longer than us. So doubt it. Apparently the guys behind us have been in those seats for like 30, I don't know, since Cintas opened or something. They've always been there. And here we are moving around all over the daggone place, man. We're like little bunnies jumping around. We're Frogger in that place, man.
Yeah.
Frogger in that place. But really like seats we've had the last 7 or 8 years, something like that. Yeah, so big redraw coming up.
Good.
I hope Eric gets his seats. I hope he gets everything he wanted in his seats.
Maybe you guys will end up sitting with him and I think
it.
John and his brother or his
cousin. Brig. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he goes with?
I'm pretty sure.
Because I've seen John there. I've seen Johnny there a few times.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I've seen him. That was
I'm assuming they still have tickets.
I gotcha.
But I know they did for a while.
Man, that was the day. Remember the day I told you about the day where such a rough day. I two different people, same day. I walk up, I'm like, hey man, how's your brother doing? Oh, he got He passed away, man. And I'm like, what? Oh my God. And my dad's like, wow, good job, Chris. I walk and I see another dude that I've known. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, how's your mom, man? I haven't seen her forever. My mom just died. I'm like, what? My dad grabs me and he goes, do not ask anyone about any other family member
Oh, no.
at all. And I was like, I just killed two people today. I just killed two people today. Felt so bad.
You didn't kill him. It is always funny.
I
like,
didn't, but it felt like it.
Yeah, I get it. I get that.
I went
Yeah.
to two funerals within a span of like 45 minutes.
I know it's weird, like, you because you've been on both sides of it. Like you have somebody close that you know
Uh-huh.
that has passed, and
hmm
you've asked somebody that, and it's
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, my memory's so bad, I always worry about asking about stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
Like, I want to be a personable guy and be like,
Yeah.
how's so and so
Uh-huh.
doing? And I'm like, wait a minute, okay, do they have both their parents? Do they have their grandparents? Do they have, like,
How's
you
mom and him?
you just can't keep track of all that, all the
No,
people you know. But anyway,
no, that was
and
very
then
difficult.
when so you feel like miserable when you ask somebody about
Yeah.
that, but then when somebody asks you about, your grandma or grandpa, my mom,
Yeah.
whatever, I'm like, oh yeah, well, she passed away this long ago or
Yeah,
whatever.
because your mom passed away.
Oh,
Your mom passed away at a very young age. So
yeah.
you could
Well,
still
thank you
be
for
getting
saying
that.
that, because she was my age now,
Oh,
and
very young, extremely young. But that's what that's what I mean though. Like that one could still be going on. Like you
yeah.
could still get those.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I do. Yeah, I mean, yeah. People will not necessarily ask me about how my mom's doing, but like when I meet new people or something,
Oh
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
start
yeah.
talking to them about your
Yeah.
family and stuff like
Tell
that,
me about your
you,
mom.
you
Tell me
end
about
up,
your dad.
yeah, it comes up at some point, and you're
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
yeah, mom's been gone or whatever, and just other people's reaction, like, oh my God, I'm so
I
sorry. Like,
yeah,
it's okay. You don't have to. It's
yeah,
okay. Like,
yeah.
it's
Legit. Yeah.
it happens to everybody and all that.
Yep. Yep.
But anyway, so
Don't
it's just
don't
funny to be
what
on
was
your
it?
side of
Mr. Who is the teacher with the wig? Religion teacher.
it.
We always Mr. His son Darnell.
Mr. Darnell,
Mr.
yeah, yeah.
Darnell.
Yeah.
He was talking about when his wife died and people were
Mhm.
coming up and telling him sorry. And I will never forget in my entire life. He told the class, he's like, it almost started making me mad. Like, why are you sorry? What did you do?
Mhm.
Why are you sorry?
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, well, that's kind of a mean thing to say. Like, they're just trying to be nice, dude.
Right.
Chill out, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't make me mad. I just, because I know, like, how people feel. Like,
Yeah,
that
dude. Like,
it
oh,
happens to everybody.
yeah.
You end up asking somebody something and you're like, oh,
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%. I've done that so many times.
anyway.
I did that with a customer one time. Did I ever tell you that one?
No. What was that one?
I walk in and dude, it's small little lumber yard up in Columbus. And this dude's son just started working there randomly. And he was kind of a goober, but it was his boy. So he he was there a few times and I didn't see him. And but he was on the recorder. He was on the voicemail. Like the kid was on the voicemail. And I was like, "Hey man, how's the grandkids and how's your son?" He's like, "Oh, he died 3 weeks ago." And I'm like, "Geez, wait, oh my God!" And then he proceeds to tell me everything about this dude's life.
Uh,
He gave me his son's life story over the phone for like 45 minutes.
oh,
It wasn't over the phone. I was in there. I was
okay.
in it, which was even worse because it was just me and him, small lumberyard. And I'm like, dude, man, I'm doing this way too much. I'm gonna stop asking people about other people. I'm just not gonna ask people
You
about
just
people
go, I
anymore.
hope everybody's good.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
yeah.
how's the fam?
Yeah,
Right? And then they'll just be like, good, because they're not gonna say bad. So
yeah.
good. All right, cool.
I feel like, I hope everything's good. I hope you're doing well. I hope your family's good. I feel like that is
The hope.
reserved. Yeah, I feel like that's reserved for like text messaging. Like, because you don't say that in person.
No, no,
You,
I
you're
totally
right
agree.
there.
Yeah.
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 I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm right here. You can ask me.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to hope, dude. You want to
Yeah.
find out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, watch, we're talking. We can find out right now. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's do it. Watch. I'm doing well. How about that? You don't have to hope anymore. Your hopes have come true.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's a weird situation.
Anyway, big ups,
Um,
Derek. Appreciate the The crackers break.
Thank you, Eric. And listen, speaking of the dead, happy birthday to my all-time favorite baseball player who is not a Cincinnati Red, and that's Tony Gwynn. That is Anthony Gwynn, and I wish I could remember his middle name because I would have said it, but he would have turned 64 today. Doesn't it feel like he's been gone for a long time?
Wow. Yeah.
Kind of like, and he would only be 64. Anyway, yeah, it's and my favorite thing on the internet is seeing those crazy Tony Gwynn stats.
man.
He hit
Him and
468 with 2 strikes and 2 outs,
Yeah.
and
him and Greg Maddux.
yep,
The ridiculous stats that come out of those guys
Yeah.
is crazy.
There was one today. I feel like I've seen them all, but once in a while, a new one will be like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen that one yet. But there was it was 1995, 170 consecutive plate appearances, did not strike out, and hit 401, and didn't strike out in 170 plate appearances.
God, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, the strikeout things are like the best part too. It's like he struck out like his entire career, he struck out less times than the guy who leads the league.
Yeah,
by
strikeout. Yeah,
by the All-Star break.
yeah, by the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Those are ridiculous. I'm about to pull this up because there was one I just had, a Greg Maddux one I thought somebody sent to me. Oh, here we go. Listen to this.
Got it.
Yeah, let's see if I can make this work.
Front foot
Oh, this
steps.
is gonna be one of those things where I got to read it. Oh,
It's like baseball stats. Here's 5 more crazy ones. Raleigh Finger's iconic handlebar mustache was not of his own doing. A's owner Charles
all right.
Foley.
This part's dumb. That's okay.
Players robust.
This dude's got. By the way, if you go on TikTok and see this guy, he's got fangs on the bottom teeth, not the top teeth.
Oh,
Yeah.
reverse fang.
173 registered at bats. He reached base 376.
Barry Bonds had 373 registered at bats. He reached base 376 times. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Maddox faced 20,421 batters in his career. Only 133 of them saw a 3-0 count. And
133 batters saw a 3-0 count. Out of what was it, 20,000?
Yeah. There's something similar that that was the 3-0 count. There's something similar about walks, and like he walked so few guys, and like half of the walks were intentional walks or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like a crazy stat about no walks, and a good portion of them were intentional.
So crazy. I want to find more. There was one I just saw the other day. It was a stolen base stat about Greg with Greg Maddux
Ooh.
that you would never
I'd like to hear that
get. Anyway, I'll try to look it up. You can talk more about Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, I don't know. Just over the years, probably from seeing a lot of those stats, and I love watching his, like he's done a bunch of different instructional videos and stuff you can find on YouTube, and just standing there even in interviews, he talks about hitting. It's like one of my favorite things to watch. It's just so cool because I mean, it almost is like a waste of time because you can take his approach, but you're still not going to be as good as he is.
No,
nobody can put it in the 5.5 hole anytime they want, like he did, Anyway, it's I don't know. There's not. He's just one of my all-time faves, and it's his birthday.
Yeah,
I just wanted to shout out happy birthday to him.
Absolutely happy birthday. And I can't find that stat that I was going to say, but I don't know.
That's
Anyway,
all right.
anyway, yeah, Greg Maddux, dude, that guy, Tony Gwynn. Like we got to see 2 people that they're like 1920 baseball players. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we're just going to do stuff the old fashioned way, and we're going to do it good. We're going to do it better than anybody. We're not going to be amazing at anything. We're not going to be, hit 5,000-foot home runs or throw 400 miles an hour.
Right.
But we're going to be better than everybody else at whatever we want to do.
yes.
It's like Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth, like when he stopped pitching, he became full-time hitter. He hit 54 home runs. And then everybody's like, he'll never do that again. And he hit 59. And in 2 years, that was 100 and however many home runs. That was more than combined. The next 3 teams combined
Oh, I'll bet.
team home runs. Unbelievable. Do you know how many MVPs Babe Ruth won? Take a guess.
One.
It was one.
Was it one?
It was one.
That was just lucky.
It was one, but for the first like 11 years of his career, when you won the MVP, he got 0 votes the other year. So you got one MVP in your career, and that was all they would give you, and it was
Who's
somebody
getting
else's
the other
turn.
votes when he's
Nobody. I mean, they couldn't. That was the deal. Is you got an MVP, you don't get another one. That's it. Somebody else. Yeah, you were no longer voted on.
Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy.
oh.
Speaking of MVP votes, congratulations to Nikola Jokic for
Yep.
his 3rd consecutive MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the video of him finding out?
No.
It was perfect. Jokic.
Love
He's
it.
standing in, I think I think he's in the locker room.
Okay.
And it's like they just had practice or they're getting ready to or something. And it's him and like a handful of people, and they're just watching the TV. And Charles Barkley announced it like on NBA on TNT. And he said, the 2024 NBA MVP from the Denver Nuggets, and the people in the room were all started like, "Hey, all right." And he goes,
just puts his little hand out,
he
gives a
goes,
couple little
and he like
slow
gave
fists.
like a sarcastic like, "I'm so excited." Like, he didn't care.
He could
one
care
bit.
less. Could care less. And I think once you win one MVP, I think the winning the championship becomes so much more
Oh, no doubt.
that I think these guys that have won a championship have been to a finals and have won MVPs. I think that MVP is just like, all right, that's really cool. I'm just doing what I got to do. Like I'm just rolling out here.
Especially him.
Yeah, especially him.
I mean,
He's hilarious.
He's funny. He's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ride a horse.
Speaking of that, Tyrese Maxey, most valuable player. Nas Reed, 6th man of the year. Steph Curry,
Hold on.
clutch player.
I thought
of the
you
year,
said
which
most valuable player was Nikola Jokic.
did I say most improved player? Tyrese Maxey. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
6th man, Nas Reed. Clutch player of the year, which Stephen Curry. I don't even really know what that is.
How do you get clutch player of the year?
I don't.
What stats are involved in that?
Well, there are clutch stats now, like
Shots made in the
within-
last minute and a half, tying, go ahead, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's based on just those stats, like you're just named it, or if there's a vote or whatever. I don't know. But Mark Daignault, coach of the Thunder, was coach of the year. Brad Stevens, executive of the year. And then they've got some other,
How is the guy from the Timberwolves not
Oh.
coach of the year?
Wemby, by the way, rookie of the year.
I saw Wemby go. And Chet Holmgren. What a great year that kid had.
He had a great year.
He had a
There were a
great
bunch
year.
of good. There were a bunch of good rookies this year for
Yeah.
sure.
But Victor Wembanyama. Ooh, there it was. I need the M. I needed the M. I knew. NBA basketball player to ever live.
Could be.
If this dude doesn't get hurt, he's going to be the greatest player ever. He's unstoppable. And if he puts on about 25 pounds, which shouldn't be hard for him to do, he's going to be like, I don't understand how anybody could do anything with him.
Yeah.
I thought Kevin Durant's handles for being 6'11 or 6'10 was insane. This dude's 7'4"?
7'4", yeah.
7'4", and can handle the ball, takes 6 steps to get down the court.
Yeah.
Like literally will
Without traveling.
block a shot. Yeah, will block a shot, fall into the stands, and be on the other side before the point guard gets there.
Yeah.
And the shots that he blocks are amazing. He doesn't look real.
I
When
know.
you watch him, he doesn't look real compared to these people.
It's
He
strange to
looks
see.
like an alien.
Yep, I agree with
He's
you.
gonna be so good, dude.
I'm
He's
excited.
gonna
I'm excited
so
as
good.
a Spurs fan. I'm really excited about that. Yeah, yeah, really good season. It's he. I mean, people were voting for him for defensive player of the year, which, by the way, I missed that one. Rudy Gobert, which
So
is fourth
dumb.
fourth one.
So dumb. I hate that. I can't wait for Wembanyama. Gosh, why is that so hard for me right now? To start taking that because he's going to get it. When you have 5 blocks a game, what was he have 3.9 blocks a game or
Something
something?
like that, yeah.
And then he had like 3.2 steals as well. And like he's going to end up being the defensive player of the year because he's not even in the right position yet.
Yeah,
Just wait till he learns how to play, how to be in position, how to be in better position. Oh my God, this dude's gonna be stupid.
Yep.
And that's not even the shots that he changes.
I know. I know.
I watched God, who was it? I can't remember who they were playing, but like you see guys like stop and take a floater over a big guy. This dude like hit the top of whatever forum there, whatever stadium they were in. Like he couldn't shoot it high enough. He was so nervous.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
he can almost touch the top of the backboard.
Yeah.
He doesn't jump to dunk the ball. He can touch the rim without jumping.
I know. I want to see. I don't even know if I've seen him like try to jump as high as he can. Like I want to see that.
Yeah.
You know.
The only time you're going to see it is when he's trying to block a shot. That's the only time. There's no need for him to jump as high as he can in any other situation.
Yeah. But I just like a combine thing or something like I just
Oh
want to
yeah,
see. I just want to see how high he can compared to the back. Like I want to see him
Mhm.
touch the top of the backboard because I'm sure he can.
Yeah. Just run down and jump up into a chin up on the back with like grab the top of the backboard to
Yeah.
chin up. It'd be insane.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got? Oh, how's college going, Adam?
College. It's so funny to hear it that way.
Are you not in college?
I am.
Or are we like in 1940s London? How's university?
Yeah. I'm.
How is university?
I claim European, so I call it university. But
Okay.
it's fine. Look, I don't like going to school at all.
Is the school you're going to called something something college or the college of, or is it university of, or something something university?
It's Southern New Hampshire University.
So you are in university.
Basketball powerhouse, Southern New Hampshire University.
Yes. Man, that's one heck of a commute you got, bro.
It's a long drive. It's about a 14-hour drive every
When you
day.
graduate, are you going to walk?
Oh,
What?
no,
You're not
of course
going to
not.
Southern New Hampshire to walk? I would go with you. Let's make a road trip.
You know what's funny is
Let's have a road trip.
I saw a post. I'm not doing that, but
We take the podcast on the road.
if we do the podcast, I'll go.
Okay, done.
I saw a post today. I guess there's a graduating class from there today or yesterday or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's an 80-year-old woman who earned her master's at Southern New Hampshire University.
Let's
And
go.
I forget where she's
Complete
from.
and total waste of money. You're not going to do anything with that. Why would you do that? That's the stupidest thing in the world. They got her, dude. They got her. It's so dumb.
She's about to join OJ Simpson. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No, but it's impressive. But she's 80 years old. She was going to school. I'm 42. It stinks. I hate going to school. But anyway,
What did she get her master's in? Retirement?
No, I forget. Oh,
You learning how to play
was,
pickleball better?
It was creative writing, I think.
Oh my God.
So she's gonna become the greatest author of all time, starting at 80.
Good for her. I'll bet you $1 million she doesn't write anything.
She might already be doing that. I don't know. But anyway, she and I don't know, her daughter, granddaughter, or something made the trip there so that she could walk.
Her and her 60-year-old
That's funny.
granddaughter.
Yeah. Yeah. She is a great grandmother. It's
That's even better.
yeah. So anyway, yes, school's going fine. Like I said, I really don't like it. I don't want to do it.
Mhm.
There are times where I'm like, you know what? This is it. I'm after this class, I'm gonna stop going again. I'm just gonna forget about school. Forget. I'm just gonna try to find another job with whatever I already have. But I did start a new class this week.
Yeah.
And so far, I mean, I'm 4 days into it, but so far this seems like it's going to be the best most interesting class.
Nice. What's it called?
It's leadership and management in business or something like that.
Whoa. Let's go. It's
Yeah.
big time.
So I read the first chapter today, and there's some interesting stuff. And I love these like personality assessments and things like that. I love doing those tests and
Wait a minute. What are they?
like personality assessments or something, or like you can do the Myers-Briggs test and find all these things out about your personality, and then it says there's like always a report at the end that says you are most likely this way or this way, and you this is how you deal with people, and this is how you deal with these certain situations, and you
My niece took a test in high school. Like, ask you a million questions, and then it's supposed to tell you what you're most likely going would be best to do as like your job would be.
Mhm.
And it was like interior design or something like that. So she wanted to be an interior designer immediately right after that. Like but is that the same kind of thing where you just take a test and it tells you what you are?
This one that I took today was specifically to like help you understand what kind of how likely you are to be a good leader or an effective leader, or kind of like tell you your strengths and weaknesses as a leader as you
Okay.
are now.
Okay.
Um,
Where do you find these? Is this something that I want
this
to
is
take?
part of
We
the.
need to start taking some of these tests on the pod. I mean,
I
how
love
long
doing these
how long do
tests.
they take?
It depends on which one you take. Like this one was 50 questions. I went through.
Oh,
I went
okay.
through it really fast.
Did you?
And they were easy
Like
questions.
yes or
and-
no, yes or no.
And it's
Mostly.
it's like it's like this doesn't describe me at all. This describes me a little. This is neutral. This is, I forget what they call that. I just learned about that in one of my classes.
Multiple choice.
It's not,
That's what we called it back in grade school. Is
It-
multiple choice.
but it's not multiple choice.
I mean, you had
there's
multiple choices to choose from.
but you're not multiple choice. We'll go with multiple choice. But anyway, it's like the same answers for everything, but you
I
just,
got yeah,
you
I
know,
got you. I got you. I
it's like
got
a
you. I know what
scale.
you're saying, and I have no idea what that would be called. So you could make a word up for it, and I'd be like, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's
It's called hornswoggling.
yeah,
And
it's the hornswoggle effect.
yeah, the hornswoggle effect. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I got you. Like I said,
I don't. That is a word, but I don't know what it means at all.
I thought it was a last name.
Hornswoggle could be
Sounds like a Harry Potter, like a character out of Harry Potter. Hey, Hornswoggle.
Yeah, it does. It does. I don't know where that is something, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, yes, it was one of those kind of things, and then it tells you. And I have good news for you.
Yes.
So there was, this text that we had to read in this book, and like leading up to that, like talking about leadership, management, the differences and similarities in those things,
Sure.
personality traits and skills, and the different kinds of those things, and then you take the test at the end. So it's shoot, what is it called? It's like the 5 big traits or something like that, big personality traits to determine like where you're at on a leadership level. One of the 5 things is extroversion.
Ooh,
That's
an extrovert, right?
an extrovert.
Okay.
They say that is the number one of those 5 is the number one most important thing to being it to most likely being an effective leader.
Okay.
That's good news for you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's go.
Really bad news for me.
I feel like-
Of those 5 things, that's by far what I scored the lowest on.
I feel like if there's definitely something where it said, I feel like you can find that question though. I feel like you could ask one question and you can find out if you're an extrovert or an introvert.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah. Yeah. What would your question be? Because I know what mine is.
Go ahead. Say.
My question would be, when in a grocery store and you see someone you know, do you actively walk towards them? Do you walk away from them? Like, I don't know, your hornswoggle effect would have to have all the same answers in it.
Right.
But I feel like that would be the one. And I mean, you're an extrovert if you are actively seeking out the person you know to have a conversation.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I feel like that would be my that would be my how to find out.
I was first because I think there was a similar question on the test about this. Like, do you at a party, do you talk to a bunch of different people, or do you kind of stay in the background.
Well, but that kind of depends, right? What kind of party you at? Like, no, it doesn't really depend.
Yeah.
Because if I'm somewhere where I know everybody, I'm going to talk to everybody. If I'm somewhere I don't know everybody,
You're going to talk
I'm
to
more than likely want to introduce myself and find out who all these people are.
Sure. Sure.
100%.
And I, the opposite.
Yeah.
I'll be at a party.
Unfortunately, my wife is not unfortunately, but my wife is the opposite as well.
Sure.
But they say that that's a lot of marriages and couples and people are like that, where one's one way, one's the other.
They balance each other out. Opposites attract, whatever it is.
She gets me to leave when I probably would be the last person to be there.
There you go. See, and then you have more time to do other stuff after that.
Sure.
Anyway, yes. Yeah, at a party where I know everybody, I still talk to a few people and then just kind of do my own thing. Anyway, yes. So that stuff is interesting to me, especially like the personality stuff and how people interact and things like that. That's interesting. I'm a little more eager to learn this stuff when they like drill way down and you're talking about theories and things like that. It gets a little bit too much. I'm like, I'm not going to remember most of this stuff. So just give me kind of the basics. But so far, it's been pretty good.
Good.
Yeah,
I like it.
Thanks.
That's awesome to hear, man.
Thank you. That's
Very
how
happy.
school's going for me. I would like to know how this past weekend, you guys had your most successful weekend of the season.
Hey, 2-1.
Baseball-wise.
2-1. 2-1.
There you go.
Yeah, semifinals, but lost. Yep, 2-1. It was we finally got a couple victories under our belt. Beat some teams that we were supposed to beat, so that was good. Came up against the team that beat us won the whole thing. So,
Good.
There you go. Always makes it a little better when they win it all.
Of course.
Always makes it a little better. But they were a good team from Fishers, Indiana, just outside of Indianapolis.
Yeah, I feel like I get a lot of Fishers people on dating apps.
Is that for real? Do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seem like great people.
Sure.
I mean, I only met one, but actually 3 if you include the couple of third basemen that came over there. But I don't know if I'd take a 10-year-old for how the women are. But
yeah. I don't know.
Hit or miss.
I don't know if you saw any moms there
Did
or
you
what.
date any? Have you ever gone on a date to Fishers? Have you gone to Fishers? Has a Fishers woman contacted you?
I don't think so.
No, but they do pop up.
Yeah.
Attractive, not attractive? What are we talking here with Fishers, Indiana?
An average of about a 4.5.
Ooh. Out of 10?
I just
or
made that
5?
up. I have no
Out
idea.
of what? That's rough, bro. Man. An average of 4.5.
No, I'm kidding. I have no clue. I don't.
There's at least 1.6 in there.
I don't. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and she's like the queen of Fishers.
Yeah. Too many boyfriends already. Too many guys chasing
There you
after
go.
her. Too many. I wouldn't mess with that either.
All the guys that are 2.5 are going after her.
Bears versus Jaeger, a couple of good West Side teams. Always seems to be a good game. We've played this team probably 6 times in the past 4 or 5 years, and always a good game. Always a good game. So
You guys pretty evenly matched?
I don't know. I don't know much about them this year. I know they changed some kids this year. We didn't, but we usually are very evenly matched. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. They beat us by 1 last year. So, oh boy, we're bringing it back this year. See what happens.
Good.
Like, yeah. So, got new ones this year for the kids. Pink with a little baby blue in it, but we put the mom's first name on the back of the kids' jerseys.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, Parker will go up to the plate, and on the back of his jersey, it'll say Aaron instead of Whit. So, like, come on, Aaron, let's go. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Be really good.
Have you seen the video of the kids team, probably somewhere around their age, where the moms chose their walk-up music and they all tried to embarrass them or whatever. And
yes,
yeah,
yes,
it's
I
kind of
have.
funny.
There's one of the songs is like "Swing and Miss" or something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that with it was softball. It was softball girls and the moms picked it. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure there's videos of everything out there like that.
Yeah. There was a boys team, probably 9 or 10 years old or something,
Mhm.
that did that too. But anyway, that's very cool. Very, very cool. Hopefully you guys get in. Is that the only game this weekend?
Yeah, we do play on Tuesday and Wednesday next week as well. So we'll have 3 games in before next week's podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Tuesday and Wednesday should not be games. Those are
Very winnable games for you guys.
extremely winnable games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
So
Saturday's going to be a big day though.
good. So winning a couple games there over the last weekend, a difference in the kids, overall,
You see you
attitudes
can see some the thing is there's a big separation and you're starting to see a big separation, but you in the way some of them are, but we did get to see some positivity come out, right? Some what's it called, confidence.
Yeah.
A little bit of confidence build up in a few of them.
Excellent.
Which is our biggest problem, man. 10 and 11-year-olds that are just so hard on themselves, dude.
Yeah.
Like so hard on themselves constantly. Like, who cares? You're 10. What do you care about? You're 11. Why is it a big deal?
I get it.
But yeah, don't want to let the team down, all that good stuff, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, it's good that they do care. I agree with you. It seems like who cares, but also they do care, and
Yes.
that's a good thing too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, good. So we'll, I want to hear about the Mother's Day game, and I will be in Indianapolis for Game 4 of the Pacers Knicks series on Sunday.
Ooh.
Pacers down 0-2, down 2-0
Yeah.
right now, but they play Friday in Indy, and then
And
they
then
play
Sunday.
Sunday.
Mhm.
Yeah. So hopefully, and they're usually pretty good at home.
Well, if as long as the referees are on their team this time, then they should be okay. Small market. It's a small market, It's hard for
Right.
small market teams to get calls.
And
according
there's
to
a
their
script.
coach.
There's a script, of course.
Yes,
And the
in New
NBA
York-
wants the New York team to
Play Boston, right?
Of
So
course.
or Indy, don't lose a 10-point lead. How about that?
Right.
Hey, but we don't lose a 10-point lead. Let's do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was surprising how much Rick Carlisle talked about the officials. He got ejected at the end of that game 2, and talked about it quite a bit in the press conference afterward. And he's going to send in the film and that kind of thing, and see what the NBA said. But
Question for you. 2-minute report comes out.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's all about transparency. Yeah, we missed 4 calls in the last 2 minutes. Here's what we missed. There was like a double dribble, I think, that was missed, and something else. Anyway, why only the last 2 minutes?
yeah,
Why do it at all? Either don't do it, or if you did the whole, obviously if you did the whole game, geez, Pete's, it would be 1,000 missed calls. You know what I
Right.
mean? Are you watching every bounce,
right.
right, of the ball? So, but I don't like the fact that they do it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. I think they need to. There's no reason for it. In no other sport do the umpires or referees come out and go, we missed. They get something themselves that grades them, but there's nowhere where it's like, hey everybody, look at us, we're trying to be better than everybody else. We missed a bunch of calls at the end of that game, just letting you know what happened. If anything, doesn't that make things worse?
I like that they do it instead of not doing it. Like, I like the idea of the transparency. I don't disagree that it's I understand, like, the last 2 minutes, it seems like that's like the most impactful time that missed calls or whatever are going to make a difference in the game. But also, so is the travel call you missed in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Really, that's a possession change, and that could be the difference in 8 points or 4 points or whatever.
And the way the game's played for the rest of the game, like that, like it
Sure.
changes the next play and the play after that and the play after that.
So yes, it would be nice to have access to, if they did a report on the entire game, and they do, they
Yeah.
do those, like, like from like you get your assessment or whatever. But if all of those things were, and by the way, like, do the missed calls, but also, especially if there's anything controversial or whatever, that's the other thing too. The amount of complaining that players, especially, and coaches do, but especially players, I feel like if you foul, so you get called for a foul, and you throw your hands up and do the surprise face and do this deal and do the,
Circle your finger,
tell
trying to tell everybody
yeah.
to replay it.
And it turns out on replay to be the right call, whether they replay it during the game or after the game. You should get some kind of fine or something for reacting that way, or for going up to the official and complaining or talking to him about it. There should be some kind of consequence for doing that when the call ends up being right. I would like to see that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be, transparent, be transparent all the way, right? Here's
That's
the
what I
calls
mean.
we got right.
Right.
Sure.
I don't know. It would be nice to. I think the replay, the ability to replay to do the challenge is what the word I'm looking for, helps a little bit because they'll react immediately to the call, and then they'll turn to the bench and start doing this. That saves a couple of seconds for the officials to not have to hear it in their face. And then once they decide to or not, once the head coach turns around to the bench to the guys that are looking at the replay, then the player goes back and talks to the ref about it and yells at him and all that kind of stuff until the next play happens. But it helps for a couple of seconds while he's like, "Hey, you guys got to look at that right now and tell me if it's a replay or not." But yeah, I would like to see some kind of something for the players that are constantly complaining about calls and reacting with big demonstrative gestures and things like that. If it's the right call,
You're
something,
fine.
do something.
Yeah.
You can't be on the officials every single play and not have any sort of consequence if they're right.
I'm with you on that. I got no problem with it. I don't know how to fight that. I'm trying to figure out how to go against you, but I'm with you. I'm with you. It's annoying. It's annoying. And if I was a referee, I don't know how they keep such level heads. So
I know.
good for them. How about having a towel thrown at you, and then that doesn't go far enough, and then a heating pad thrown at you from the bench?
Jamal Murray on the bench. He's frustrated, I'm sure, about calls or missed calls or whatever. And he's like below the baseline on the bench.
That's how all of them are now.
Yeah, right. And you can see all the replays darken the screen and highlight where he is in the corner of the thing, and when he throws it and it goes onto the court in the middle of a play.
Yeah.
And he's throwing it in the direction, at least. Most people are just saying that he threw it at the official.
Yeah, he did.
He at least threw it in his direction, and it went on the floor in the middle of a play.
So if you're a referee, how is that game not stopped immediately? Go back and review it and find out who did it and kick them out.
I think, honestly, probably the right thing to not do that. But
why? Why is that the right thing?
Because
if you're a referee and you're standing there and you're looking at the bench and a guy takes it and throws it at you, you're kicking him out of the game immediately.
That's different, yeah.
Okay, so what's different about that from when you're standing not looking and get something thrown at you?
Because you don't know where that came from, who it came from, why it did. Different things could have happened. It's not a guarantee that someone was throwing something at you. It's who knows. But You didn't see it, so you can't just make a
All right, so you walk by and you pick it up and you toss it back and you're like, that's weird. And you look kind of looking around. Maybe there's another referee that's like, look like it was getting thrown out here. And then the next stoppage, you're like, hey, let's go take a look at that and see what happened.
and the stoppage. Yeah, originally I was gonna say, well, you can't just stop the game when the ball stopped anyway, or even at the end,
Timeout or
timeout or
whatever.
quarter
Yeah.
or whatever. You probably could. It doesn't really bother me that it's not addressed until after the game, because it was like, well, whatever happened, I don't know, is really weird. Things don't just get thrown onto the court, but something happened and it came on. So I don't know. Here's the thing. Let's just get right to what happened after the game. Jamal Murray got a $100,000 fine for that.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty hefty fine.
Except it's not
I mean, maybe not
for that.
Yeah, I mean, but
that's the thing.
I mean, $100,000 is a lot of money.
It's like 1/4 or something of play for him. It's like 12 minutes of basketball for him.
Yeah.
So, is that enough of a punishment for that to you?
I don't know. You fine him, but yeah, I would have liked to have seen him suspended, or I feel like would have been better. I feel like that would have been the right thing to do, and nobody wants to do that in a game when he's a player that is big and needed, and it's in the playoffs and all that. But you have to do what you got to do at that point in time. I think he should have been suspended. Pat Bev, what about Beverly? Taking a ball, throwing it into the stands, missing the person he was trying to hit a little girl in the head. They threw it back to him. He turned around.
Adult lady.
He turned around and chucked it back at the dude again.
Mm-hmm. I know. He was like, oh, here.
Like, yeah, like, oh, my bad.
Yeah,
Give me that back.
And
Yeah.
then he
Throws it again.
Yeah. I mean,
then his antics afterwards with, do you follow my podcast? And what, so they haven't come out and done anything to him yet, have they? They have. What did he get? What did he get?
4-game suspension.
4-game suspension.
Right. Which is going to start at the beginning of next season because they're finished.
Yes.
So he's starting for his first 4 games. He's not going to be playing next year. And what I'm seeing all over Twitter when I looked at that earlier today is everybody reacting to the relationship between those 2 incidents.
It's only because they happened at the same time.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any relationship at all. One of them is interaction with the fan. The other is a in-game interaction with an in-game player with an in-game referee. I don't think that's quite the same.
I agree with you. Yeah.
And I'm fine with Bev getting 4 games, but I think that Murray deserved at least 1 minimum.
I completely agree with you on that. And it is hard to, especially because it on paper, it shouldn't matter, but because he's a star player still playing in the playoffs, that factored in. I guarantee that.
100%. That's why I think Adam Silver is currently losing his status as the best of the commissioners.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's better?
Way too soft. Maybe not. I'm not saying he's not the best. I'm just saying that he's losing it. He's dropping down a little. This is way too soft. He's way too easy on some of these players. He's too scared. He's so scared of the players all the time. I don't like this at all.
I think Adam Silver is part of the decision on these things. I don't think Joe Dumars is the guy who he's the vice president of the vice president of operations and president of basketball operations or something like that for the NBA. And I think he's the one that hands down the punishments for these kind of things. So I think he has I think he might even have a little bit more say than Adam Silver. I'm sure his input is very significant.
I feel like if Adam Silver says he's getting a game suspension, Joe Dumars goes, okay.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. But yeah, I think these things that is like a big part of Joe Dumars' job. So it's a big part of that is on Joe Dumars.
They're both soft. Soft. Come down with an iron fist. You think David Stern would have let any of that go down? No chance. No. Not a chance.
Not everybody loved him though.
Why do you have to be loved? Why is that so important?
It's
You know what? I think if
You
you're a
don't have
good
to.
commissioner, I think the best commissioners are probably the ones that are hated because they're doing things to shake things up. They're maybe not hated, but that doesn't like I still don't know why Rob Manfred is hated. I don't know why nobody likes Rob Manfred.
Yeah.
Like, what did he do that nobody likes him?
Everything he does, everybody has a problem with. So I don't know.
But like, look at his stamp on the game is going to end up being something that really changed the game for the better. The time clock, making games go faster. There's more runs, stolen bases with the bigger bases. The game's more exciting right now than it has been in a long time. And I believe I may be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that numbers are up on viewership as well.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But going back to what the punishments are, yeah, I think I even think you could do. He probably deserves to be suspended right away, and you could do if you want to do multiple games, suspend him for the next game, and then suspend him for 1 or 2 more games to start next season. If you don't want him to be out for 3 games in the playoffs.
You know what? No, I don't like that at all. You
Okay.
throw something out that what's your suspension? You say it's 4 games, then he gets 4 games now. I don't care if it's even dumber that you would do something like that at a point where your team could lose you. It's the Draymond Green thing.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this now? Why are you waiting for the playoffs when you know your next technical, you're out for 3 games. You're suspended for a game. You know your next technical, and then you kick LeBron in the junk. Now you're suspended for a game. Why did you do it? Why? Don't make any sense. Same thing. Why are you throwing something out of red? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That needs to be punished way more than especially $100,000 fine and just a fine.
Yeah,
no matter what
it's
the
dumb,
fine is.
but it has to be. It can't be that again. You can't be the commissioner and go, all right, you get 1 game in the playoffs, and then we'll the rest of them we'll do at the beginning of the year that mean nothing. No, you shouldn't have done what you did. It's a huge game. You're in the playoffs. You're upset. You need to learn a lesson. You know what? Here's your lesson.
I feel like
Don't be soft.
you and I are on the opposite side of what we usually are on for these kind of things.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I'm usually like that. And for that reason, I don't disagree with you. I can't argue against that. Yeah, if you are you did something, and it's not like you cussed him out. It's not like you said something about his mom. It's not like, I mean, you threw something on you could have.
It's
hurt
not even
a
about
player.
it's not even about what that you threw something at the ref. You threw something out on the court in the middle of a game, like a small square thing that if somebody stepped on it could have slid and tore something, and now somebody's career could be over. I know that that's a huge exaggeration, but very easily someone could step on it, roll an ankle, and be out for a game or anything like that. What are you thinking? And you should be punished for not thinking.
Yeah. That's
I get it that you're 23 years old or 26 years old or whatever, but I don't care. That doesn't matter.
No,
That doesn't matter.
He's older than that. He's not. Yeah, he doesn't get that excuse. But yeah, weird to everybody hates that Pat Beverly got 4 games and Jamal Murray got basically nothing.
Well, Bev did something twice and into the crowd. That
He did. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. The fan interaction is the biggest deal.
That is since the Malice in the Palace. That's the biggest thing the NBA is most worried about every single game.
Yeah.
Every game they're scared something's going to because of how close that is.
Yeah,
the interactions are. So to have that go down, that's all you see is fight. That's all you think in your head is giant brawl about to happen.
Yeah.
10,000, 15, 20,000 on 30.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. There's nothing we can do about it, of course, but it would be better to see Jamal Murray get a much bigger penalty for doing what he did. And the bad part about it is, he left. He didn't speak to the media after the game, and 2 days later, when the media finally got access to him at practice, he blew it off like, big deal. Stop asking me about it. Like he doesn't care about the fine. Doesn't hurt him. he's like, I'm moving on. So what? I'm moving on. You guys have questions about basketball or not? Like he's not even like, I don't even know if he apologized. I don't even know if he said he shouldn't have done it. That makes it a lot.
Man.
That makes it even worse.
I probably would be one of the most hated members of the media if I was like covering a team. Because if you are a spoiled brat and you are a punk and you think whatever you think about yourself and you can do something like that in a sport, in an occupation with so many eyes on you and just expect things to go away and not have to answer for it, I would never stop. I wouldn't stop. He could walk away and I'd be screaming the question back at him still. Like you're gonna have to find somebody to be really pissed, like to get me out of here. Like, come on, man. You're supposed to be an adult and you know your occupation. Like I would be hated because I would antagonize. I would end up being kind of a bully to him probably by trying to get him to answer for his actions.
Yeah, the power that they have, you might not have your job a very long time, but
That's fine. But I would be remembered forever as the guy who's like, you remember that dude that was like, hey, dummy, answer the question. You don't get to just brush it off. You did it. You got to answer for it.
Speaking of those,
Man up.
yeah, speaking of those factors that go into the punishments, Patrick Beverly, that the people on the internet like being upset about the discrepancy in those penalties for those two things are silly, because Patrick Beverly has all these things, all these problems with other players and things like that all the time. And so that is part of like, and by the way, he was penalized those 4 games for both actions, for throwing the ball and for the way he treated the reporter after the game. So that's, that's
For
another.
those of you listening that don't know, he looked at a reporter and asked her if she follows his podcast. She said no, and he said, "You can't ask me any questions."
Yep. And then she didn't ask him questions, but she stayed there with the microphone to get a sound bite, and he wouldn't let her do that. He wouldn't let her stand there. He told her twice to go away after that, and like made her leave the scrum, made her leave the circle before he answered anybody's questions, which is crazy. I don't know. He really, his emotions really got the best of him that day, and it didn't even it didn't even cool down after the game apparently, because he did that after the game. Anyway, because of his history and how much his mouth runs all the time, that's part of his suspension. Jamal Murray hasn't been in trouble for anything like this before, or really anything. So I think that's part of it's still way too light a punishment, but he hasn't had the same kind of issues as Draymond Green and Patrick Beverly and some of these other guys. So anyway, that I think that's part of it, but still, shame on Joe Dumars or Adam Silver or whoever is
Soft.
responsible.
Oh, do you want to know my opinion? You want to know my opinion?
I heard it.
Do you want to know it though?
Is it hard?
Do you? Well, depends on time of the day. The wind blows the right way.
Should have worded that differently.
So do you follow my podcast?
Do I?
Yeah. You
Yeah,
subscribe to my podcast? Okay. All right. Well, then I'll give you my take then. Otherwise, I was going to tell you to kick rocks. Yeah, I'm in it.
All right.
Yep. Listen every week.
Live.
Live. I hear it before anybody else. All right. What else? We got something else, don't we? What else do we have?
Yeah, we have Saturday Night Live, folks.
Oh, Adam, let's talk about the greatest Saturday Night Live folks. Oh, it's hard for me to say it with the L. And I usually like to pronounce every single letter in a word. But folks, I feel like is my way of saying it.
You gotta read it in your mind like FOKES.
Yeah, it's folks.
Yeah.
Do you say folks or folks?
I say folks.
I say folks.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a folks.
Yeah.
What's up, folks? What's up, folks?
Yeah.
Just
maybe there's a like a little tiny slight L in there, maybe. But anyway, Saturday Night Live cast members, right?
Yeah. Dude, did you look up the like I had a list of 150 people and I was like, I didn't even know that dude was on there.
I was not anticipating working on schoolwork all night right until I left for here.
Oh,
So I
okay.
didn't so I
Okay.
didn't look it up. I went off the top of my head and just wrote down some names.
Perfect. Love it. Love it.
If I would have looked at a list, I would have written down a lot more names, but I think I probably have my four anyway
Oh yeah,
that
for
I would
sure.
have settled on. So did you have you just have it in your mind because you looked at the list
Yeah. Yep.
and you just have it in your mind.
Uh
You have your four or you have a couple and then you're filling in.
I mean, there's
making a
just
decision.
so many.
Yeah.
There's so many.
So many of the best though, or just so many like that was good, that the person
Yeah.
was good, that person was good.
I mean, to start, right, I feel like without a doubt, we both have Chris Farley on ours, right?
Yes.
Like there's no doubt that Chris Farley is 100%.
I had three kind of no doubters, honestly.
Oh, did you?
For
Okay.
me,
All
for
right.
me,
What are
yeah.
your three no doubters? I'm interested in that.
Farley, Adam Sandler, and Will Ferrell. are my
Okay.
three no doubters.
Will Ferrell for sure
Mhm.
is on mine. Um, Adam Sandler was really good. Adam Sandler was one of the ones that I just kind of had written down.
I'm probably giving him more credit for all of his other stuff.
So that's the thing is I was trying to do this as Saturday Night Live
that's the way it should be.
because
Yeah.
Chris Farley or Will Ferrell, Saturday Night Live. I mean, that dude was insane.
He might be number one,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean,
Current, I don't even know if she's still current. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. Kristen Wiig, whatever her
Wiig.
name is.
she's not, but she just hosted.
She's hilarious.
I have her written on my.
She's one of my favorites. Absolutely one of my favorites.
I agree.
Dana Carvey was amazing. And the thing that sucks is you got guys like you have like Chevy Chase and people like that, but I don't know much about them. I don't remember watching any of it.
Sure, they were in the 70s and 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, like we were talking Gilda Radner, who was married to who did I say she was married to? We just talked about it.
Yeah, another comedian, another comedy guy, right?
Yeah, but he's the Willy Wonka,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Gene
Gene Wilder.
Wilder.
So I think what I'm gonna go with, yeah, and John Belushi, like everybody says John Belushi's was unbelievable. I don't remember Belushi. I don't remember Eddie Murphy that much outside of the Gumby thing. Like I don't remember a ton of Eddie Murphy. Tina Fey was phenomenal on it. Yeah,
Bowler was good.
yeah, Dan Aykroyd. Bill Murray was on this. How was Bill Murray not great?
Yeah.
So Will Ferrell, Chris Farley. My third that is for sure on there. If you ever watched any of the episodes, anything Phil Hartman ever did on Saturday Night Live, Phil Hartman was amazing. Like he might be one of the funniest dudes and one of the greatest impressionists and ever to be on Saturday Night Live. So I would put him on there. Man, and it's so difficult from there. Dana Carvey. I actually that's what I'm going with. I'm not putting Adam Sandler on there. I'm putting Dana Carvey on there. He had so many good ones with Church Lady and Garth and all that. I think I'm gonna go Goat Boy or whatever he was. Wasn't that him? Didn't he do Goat Boy?
Goat Boy was Jim Brewer.
Oh, that's who I'm not Dana Carvey. I'm God, Jim Brewer. Who is it? Nah. Yeah, Dana Carvey's who I'm thinking of, but now I just remember Jim Brewer was absolutely hilarious too. Just another one. There's just so many people. I mean, Kenan Thompson's been on there forever, and he's legit funny every time he's on there.
Yeah,
I like Kenan. I like
him too.
And another guy who I think was probably better when he did 30 Rock than when he did SNL was oh my God. I can't think of his name.
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan. Yeah.
Who's at every single Knicks game in the playoffs.
Nice. Good for him. Man. Tina Fey's up there though, man.
Yeah.
The wig girl, she's up there. Like there's some funny ladies that have been on there, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Rachel Dratch was good.
Yes.
She was on there a couple years. Yeah. All kinds of.
But those are what I'm going to go with.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Farley. I'm going to go Dana Carvey. I'm going to go Phil Hartman. and I'm gonna go Farrell.
Mine is exactly the same except Sandler. So Phil Hartman was.
You had
mine.
Phil Hartman on there?
Absolutely.
Like I feel like there are a lot of people that may not think about him.
He was the third person I thought of. I think I thought about him before I
Like-
thought of Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I could see that. Adam Sandler is probably one of my top 5 favorite actor / comedians of all time.
Mhm.
And he was okay on Saturday Night Live. I just remember him being a lot like who's the talk show? God, I'm so bad with names. Jimmy Fallon,
So, yeah.
where they just like they couldn't stop laughing at them at the skit. Like weren't great at holding a they were
Oh.
never really good at maybe not laughing at themselves, but just would kind of start giggling and laughing and stuff. Whereas like a guy like Phil Hartman could do an entire skit and be the craziest dude. Will Ferrell could be the craziest dude out there. Everyone's laughing on stage and he's still in character 1,000%. That is to me what makes that unbelievable.
They talk about that all the time.
Farley is like that.
Yeah, they talk about that all the time. Like they weren't in the older days, like including when it was Sandler and Farley and Spade and all those guys. They weren't allowed. They would get in trouble
Mhm.
if they broke character, if they laughed.
Well, yeah, but
Um,
it's the whole point, right? Like the Groundlings back in the day, and all, like yeah, that's the whole. Call it improv, call it whatever you want, but that's the point. Is you're putting on a show, like
Right.
be the character.
Yeah, you're trying to be a character. You don't want to break the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't. I think Lauren is still like he doesn't want them to do that, but they don't get. And I think it really started with Fallon. Like he was the biggest one.
Oh, it's so
that he-
bad.
And yeah, and it happens pretty frequently now. You
Yeah.
know, they don't even like on Weekend Update when they have somebody on, they don't even try to. They
No.
just laugh the whole time,
Yeah.
basically. Anyway, yeah, that's Phil Hartman. I was glad. I was pumped. Like I
Dude.
held it in, but when you said Phil Hartman, I'm like, oh yes,
I love Phil Hartman.
he's the best.
Absolutely love Phil Hartman.
Oh man, and he's another guy that is did a bunch of great stuff outside of SNL too,
Oh, absolutely.
movies and shows and everything.
And then his wife went and killed him and
Yep.
turned it on herself and left a 6 and 9-year-old sitting at the door, like
I mean,
in the house. The kids were in the house. When the cops got there, they heard a shot go off in the back. That's how like
oof.
she did it when they got there.
Yeah. Yep. It's
I just watched the whole thing on Phil Hartman not that long ago, and
Yeah.
it was like, God, that's
I've seen something. I've seen a
insane.
show or some kind of
It's
documentary. or something.
crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah. Yep. That's sad. That's a sad thing.
Because
But-
I mean, and I don't remember this. I remember watching was it news
News radio.
news radio.
Love that show.
Remember watching news radio and thought it was awesome. Andy Dick and Joe Rogan, very small. I mean, he was big. He was part of it, but like I feel like I don't really even remember him talking most of the time.
Yeah.
But Joe Rogan, Andy Dick, and him and the other really funny guy who was the boss,
Dave Foley.
Dave Foley.
Yeah.
Who again, Dave Foley is a hilarious dude too.
Yeah.
So
Kids in the Hall. You watch
Kids in the Hall,
right?
yes,
I love that show.
absolutely.
Loved it.
So like at the end of that, like they just all decided like if Phil's not going to be here, we're not doing the show anymore. And they had their last final episode, and Phil was gone, and it was like it's insane.
I love
man.
that. Yeah. I love that they kind of banded together on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just crazy, just absolutely crazy.
Yep. Oh man. All right. Well, SNL folks. Shout out to Saturday Night Live on their
Who did you have in? Oh, you had Adam Sandler.
Sandler. Yeah.
Yeah, no Dana Carvey.
Sandler, and Dana Carvey's awesome.
Yeah.
It's if you're a podcast listener and you're listening to this, so maybe you are. Fly on the Wall, David Spade and Dana Carvey do that together, and then that was going so well, they started another one together. The name of it I can't remember right now, but it's
So what did they talk about differently in the two podcasts?
so on Fly on the Wall.
I hear people talk about like, oh yeah, he's got a second podcast now. Like, what, why? What are you doing
It
differently?
ends up being pretty similar, but Fly on the Wall is more for they have a guest every time, and there's a and it's kind of SNL centric. It's kind of,
Mhm.
everybody hasn't been a cast member on SNL that they've had on, but
Sure.
they end up talking about it at least a little bit. Um, so that's kind of that one. The other one, it's usually just the two of them, and they'll do so they do they'll have people call in and do impressions and stuff, and they'll like talk about them, and because Dana Carvey's constantly doing these
Yes.
impressions,
Yes.
he's still really really good. And they'll just kind of like joke about stuff back and forth, talk about stuff in the news and stuff
Yeah.
like that. They'll look up stuff on the internet, like viral stuff going on there, and that
So
kind of
what's
thing.
the new one about?
That's that one.
Oh, okay. What's
Yeah,
the old one about?
that's the SNL one.
Oh,
They
okay.
have a guest on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
Fly on the
Okay.
Wall.
I got you.
Yes.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah, they're both really good podcasts because I think David Spade is underrated. I love David. I think he's so funny. Did you go with me to Chris Rock or David Spade?
I went to Chris Rock.
You went to Chris Rock because
Yeah.
David. I saw David Spade too at the Taft. It was like a month before that or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
David Spade is so I love watching interviews with David Spade.
Mhm.
He's very good at I can't tell sometimes his like how that he would be a guy that seems like he could stay in character pretty well. Of course, he had to do a lot of work with Farley, so that's almost impossible, right?
Yeah.
Almost impossible. But like he talks and it's almost like, well, I don't know what and it seems really serious. And then he just the little nuggets that come out are like, that was good. That was a good one. I like that. Just little tiny nuggets. And then his
Yeah.
laugh annoys me though. I can't stand his laugh though.
Oh.
Like I don't know how to even do it.
Yeah,
I can't.
that's pretty good.
I can't take his laugh though.
Really?
Yeah. I can't get the right pitch, but yeah.
I don't even think about his
Oh,
laugh.
I
I don't
can't
know.
stand his laugh. No, but I do. David Spade's good. I like David Spade.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that that's a comedy Mount Rushmore. Let's jump right into comedy.
Let's do it. Jump into H. Foley. What was the name of this? The half hour special.
The something special. Half hour stand up comedy special presented by AYG. Are you garbage?
Imagine that. Thank God the other guy wasn't there. First off, surprised how clean this was. I don't know why I look at this dude and I just expect F bombs to fly. He didn't, I don't know that he cussed the entire time.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even. Huh.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't even register that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I thought it was good. I thought
I
it was
agree
good.
with you. I've heard him cuss tons of times
Mm-hmm.
on his podcast and other stuff. Huh. All right.
I don't think he cussed at all.
Good for him.
So,
I mean, he's talking about all the topics, drugs and sex and all that kind of stuff.
100%. But there was no F bombs, no
Yeah.
bull. I mean, not even little stuff. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
That's interesting.
I
didn't
love
even
that.
think about
I love that he can do something like sometimes like I don't mind if you're a big cusser. It doesn't bother me. But sometimes if it's too much, it's like, all right, like now
yeah.
you just sound dumb.
We've
Like
seen a
when
bunch of those. Yeah.
you sound dumb because you can't come up with another adjective besides a 4-letter curse word. Like it makes you sound illiterate.
Yeah, I agree with
honestly.
you. I agree.
Why does it have to be that way? And yeah, it's ridiculous. So anyway, I did like that. I liked it.
Good.
Go ahead. What do talk about it? Yeah, I started off this
Oh.
Saturday Night Live, folks. It's hard for me not to say folks anymore.
All right. Yes, I like this. I was excited because I haven't seen him do stand up outside of his thing with Kevin Ryan. And so I was excited to see, and Kevin Ryan, by the way, came out with his own special recently too. Maybe we'll end
Good.
up doing that at some point,
Eh,
but
Not that's my choice.
so you were even originally when we watched the Are You Garbage special, whatever it was, a year ago or something. You were a bigger fan of H. Foley then, or you were just like the whole thing?
I don't even remember, to be
Okay.
honest with you. I don't know. I just remember it wasn't up my alley.
Gotcha. Okay. So yes, I really liked it. I wrote down some little phrases to try to and now it's been a while because I watched it a couple weeks ago, and I wrote these things down, and now I'm trying to
I
remember
remember the
jokes.
joke. Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was about his weight and that kind of thing.
Sure.
And one of the first things he said was he's like dieting or something. He switched to Sprite.
He switched to Sprite. That was good. Yep.
That was
Yep.
really funny. Let's
Be
see.
proud of me. You be proud of me.
Yeah. Um,
The quiet fighting with his girlfriend, like,
yeah.
with the fighting stuff with his girlfriend is
That was good.
hilarious.
The name brand except liver medications.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the
Like,
generic.
yeah, so that
medication.
he's like, yeah, you're not eating Oreos. He was like Nike, and I only wear Nike and I only wear Under Armour and da, da. But when it comes to liver cancer medication, I'll take the really cheap generic.
Generic,
That was good.
I wrote down Larry, and now I'm trying to remember what that
I don't know
was.
what that is.
Larry. Um, let's see. What would you do if I died? I wrote that down.
The story about his like rock bottom with cocaine and all that stuff, that whole story was crazy.
Yeah.
If that's even a quarter true stories,
It is true. He's talked about it on his podcast.
that's crazy.
I'm pretty sure it's true. Yeah, I guess he could be joking all the time about it.
I mean, he crapped his pants and his mom picked him up, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peeing in your 40s.
Yeah, that was good. So great. You got to do it more, but so great.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like it's something like yeah, before this I was into something else. Not web design. What's it called? Cocaine.
Cocaine. Yeah, that was good. You actually had me going too. I was like, what was it? Oh, that's right. That was the joke. Oh, well, it's not web design. What's the name? Oh, that's right. Cocaine.
That whole was part of a big long story, but he said, "That's it. I got diabetes."
Yeah, talking to his mom.
Yeah. He said, "I'm the diabetes kid." I like that. Anyway, so that was I wrote down a few things there. But yeah, a lot of the jokes I liked, and he's more of a little bit more of a storyteller type of
Yep.
comedian. But he did a good job with it, I think, and he had a lot of stuff, a lot of lines, and a lot of jokes within his stories. And yeah, so I really liked the whole thing.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm 100% with you. I liked it as well. I think so half an hour is good for him. Maybe he didn't have enough to do an hour. I'm sure he's got enough, but maybe not the best. But I don't think I didn't like belly laugh, crazy laugh at any point. I giggled and was smirking the whole time. But I was pleasantly surprised.
Good.
I'm gonna go 3.9.
Okay. Cool. 3.9 for Chris. I had him at a 4.2.
Oh, we're pretty close then.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep. That's 2 straight 4.2s for me because I had Neil Brennan before that.
Yeah.
Uncle
Neil.
Uncle Neil.
Uncle Neil. All right, so that means that I need to come up with a I need to have a
comedy.
And you get to do, oh jeez, get out of here,
Mount
yawn.
Rushmore.
You get to do Mount Rushmore. Do you have a Mount Rushmore ready? You got any ideas? Did you watch the roast of Tom Brady?
I did. Oh,
you?
we could talk about that forever.
I've only watched I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
Okay.
It's a little long.
I had to do it in 2 parts
It's
too.
a little long.
Absolutely.
A little long.
3 hours long.
Yeah. And I haven't heard all this stuff, but apparently there's some really good stuff. Julian Edelman's recently been on a podcast over the last couple days and has some really good, like, back in the green room stories. Like, everybody's cutting up back there. Belichick's having fun. And then Robert Kraft walked in the green room beforehand and like everybody shut up. It was
Interesting.
then the when what's his name was up there?
Jeff Ross.
Jeff Ross was up there and he made the massage joke. And Brady stood up and walked over and said, "Don't do that anymore."
That a lot of people are talking about that. Like, was that a serious moment or was that Like
would
when they
like
kind
to.
of playing her.
I'd like to hear from Ross or from
Mhm.
him on that. And I heard. So I didn't see the end. I didn't get to see Tom go up.
Okay. Did
So
you see everything up until then?
no,
Okay.
no. So I saw. Let's see. What did I see? I saw Gronk when Gronk spiked the glass. That was the end of it. Rob Gronkowski, first off, is exactly who he is. So
Yeah.
you know what?
Or is he playing up to, because every single person said the same things about him.
Yeah.
And they have for a long time.
Yeah. And he's like, and I think part of him, there was a couple times where he was like, I'm not so dumb. You know what I mean? Like he plays the role, right? He knows what he is, but I think a little bit he is
Yeah.
that though. And
That's
he
true.
knows it. I don't think it's a bad thing to him. He doesn't care. He's gonna have some fun. But legit, I think he came up with a few of those little jokes on his own. They weren't the best, but like he turned around and riffed off. He was in like some of them got like, okay, well, all right, let's turn it back. Turn it back. Whatever you guys joke around in the locker room, that might have gone. That, where people were kind of giggling at you, like maybe not to millions and millions of people.
So he is not funny at all to me. And he has tried stand-up comedy before. And they have played that twice, I think, on the bonfire and talked about it, his stand-up set.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Well, of
It's
course it is. He's
so
not a
bad.
stand-up comedian.
I know, but he was trying it legitimately.
Well, good for him.
Anyway,
So when he went under, and I don't know because I haven't seen the end of it, so I'm sure they gave him something. There was something inside that podium. He started thinking it.
yeah,
Kevin was like, "No, Rob, stop! No, get the glasses. What are you doing?"
yeah.
That is like, to me, that's Gronk. Like, he had a few too many sitting over there waiting for his turn. And the funny thing is, I feel like they should have let the comedians that do it all the time, those people go last, and let the people that were really nervous and probably had a few too many cocktails trying to get unnervous, let them go first and get that out of the way.
Think so?
Because by the time Gronk got up there, bud, he wasn't feeling any pain.
I know. Yeah. 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 I mean, none of the players were funny. Julian Edelman was probably the best one.
He was good. I like, Julian was good. Randy wasn't bad. I didn't think Moss was that bad.
He was okay. He wasn't like funny
Yeah, didn't do
really, but he
anything
wasn't
crazy.
bad.
Yeah, Kevin Hart. I love Kevin Hart.
I want to know what all comedians you saw.
I don't know why Kevin Hart had. So I saw Kill Tony was, I think, the last one. After Kill
Yep.
Tony, is when that's when Gronk went up.
Okay.
So I
You
saw
a lot of it.
I feel like I did. I saw Jeff Ross. I saw Nikki Glazer. I saw Tony. And I think that's all the comedians. Oh, Sam.
Sam J.
Said what Kevin Hart said. How many black guys are even up here? We got one, what is it, 4 black guys? One,
He
1,
counted
2,
every-
Sam. And he's like, oh my God, Sam. I'm sorry.
Counted her as one of the guys. That was fun.
That was so good. I mean, she got a little out there too. Like,
Yeah.
that was a little weird
Yeah,
too.
I didn't love her set.
Yeah,
really.
I thought I think Nikki Glazer is becoming this roast person, and she's a really good comic, and she knows her timing, and she knows what she does, and she does what she does, whether you like the sexuality part of it or not. Like, she's going to be her, and that's what she's going to joke. And I thought she did a really good job. I thought that was one of the best sets I've seen her do.
I thought Nikki Glazer was the story of the whole thing.
You feel
I
like
thought
she
she
was
was
that
good.
Yeah.
I thought she was way better than anybody
I
else.
told I watched.
Tony Hinchcliffe was also really
Tony was really
funny.
good too, but it was too quick. He was just pow, pow, pow,
He was
pow,
moving
pow,
around.
pow, pow, done.
Yeah.
Drop the mic, and I was like, "Whoa,
I felt like
let's
he ran
go!"
for a while, but you're right.
He
was going
did,
fast.
yes. So, I was telling my wife, because Jeff Ross went first, and I was like, "This dude is he does every roast ever. He's the roast master general. He's always got some good ones. He's going to go over the line. He's going to find it, and he's going to go over it. So you're probably, going to be uncomfortable when he says some
He
things."
came out in the OJ.
And the OJ Simpson with blood all over it. Roast Simpson or whatever it sounds back. I can't remember what it sounded like.
Roast Jason.
Yeah, roast Jay Simpson. When he got done, and so then somebody came, and then when she came up and she got done, I looked at my wife and I was like, she's going to be the new, like she is slowly becoming. I've seen her on a couple roasts. She did the Bieber roast and a couple others.
Mhm.
I was like, she's slowly becoming that Jeff Ross that's going to be everywhere. It used to be that, what was the girl? Big girl, then she lost some weight, older lady, always talked about white girl, white older lady, always talked about banging black dudes.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I can see
What's
in
her
my
name?
head.
Lisa Lampanelli.
Lisa
Boom.
Lampanelli. Good job.
Lisa
job.
Lampanelli was on these all the time, and she was over the top and real mouthy and crazy.
Mhm.
And it was like Jeff Ross and her were gonna be there, and they were gonna be great.
Yeah.
And I feel like Nikki Glazer is going to be this roast queen at some point.
I hope so, because she was unbelievable in my opinion.
I'm glad you thought, because I don't know, like there's been some of her comedy sets that you've been like, all right, I can't take this anymore. Like it's too much. But
Yep.
that was I was wondering how you felt about that, because I thought she was good.
I love all the roasts anyway. It almost doesn't matter who, as long as they have good comedians on,
Yes.
it almost doesn't matter who gets roasted. I wish they did more. Like that was the first one in like 5 years they did or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know part of it is because they are all, there's going to be a lot of like really nasty stuff on it, but that's part of the reason it's so funny.
So the
Like,
best
that's
part
the
is,
last thing like
yeah.
that you have.
yeah, and it's like you get these like crazy big celebrities. Like it started getting a little weird, right? Like we did Rob, what was his name?
Rob Lowe.
Yeah, well, Rob. Why are we doing the roast of Rob Lowe? Don't give me a roast of
Yeah.
Rob Lowe.
Donald Trump before he was even thinking
Yes.
about being president.
Donald
that.
Trump, great. You didn't think so? Donald Trump
mean,
was a big name at that point in time. He was a huge name there.
But why? I mean, yeah.
But like Charlie Sheen, all the
Charlie Sheen.
craziness he was going through, that's the guy we roast right now, right?
What's his
Justin
name?
Bieber's like one of the most famous people ever. We got to roast this dude. When you get those kind of people that are just huge, and you're like almost like, is this like this dude can't be real because of all the ways things are going, right? Like Tom Brady's this too perfect, all this stuff. And to just hear everyone go in at him and him just sit, first off, to get roasted and to take, like, he had to take a lot. There's things that you've done that's going to come up 100%.
Yeah.
And
Everybody talked about his divorce all night.
gosh, that was good. There's some good ones in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have more respect for Tom Brady now because he did that.
He handled it very well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Drew Bledsoe, dude,
I feel bad for that guy.
that's rough.
He was a really good sport too. He joked about
Yeah.
all that stuff all night long.
Absolutely.
took 'em
Absolutely.
and-
Yep. No.
The beginning was the worst part. When it was him and what was it? I think somehow like him and Brady and Belichick all came together, and like the whole
in the
COVID
very
thing.
beginning, he was talking, he was like, all right, here's the deal. Blah, blah, blah. All right, you're benched. Brady, get in there. And
I was like, what a horrible start to this.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing, but they killed it, dude. They killed it. Kim Kardashian was the poor, like, I don't know why did they boot her so bad? I didn't think she was that bad. I didn't think they didn't even, first off, they didn't give her a chance. Second off, I thought I'm sure they were all written for her, but I thought some of the jokes were pretty good.
Yeah, if she tried to do all of her own jokes, it would have been even worse. I thought she
But
stunk, but
I
don't know why.
what do you
people boo her
expect
for-
from her though? Like,
Yeah,
what, did you expect great comedic timing?
That's
No.
Even bigger than who's getting roasted. In a lot of
The
cases,
joke, most of the time they're making fun of everybody else.
but I mean, some of the people they have on the dais doesn't make any sense. Like
Well,
she's friends with Tom Brady, so I guess
yeah.
that makes sense.
They
But-
were talking about her, like there was, as soon as he broke up with Giselle and all that went down, they were like together there's pictures of them together at a party, and they were like they're together or whatever.
I don't even think I knew that, but I mean, I kind of got that out of the context of what they were talking about. But yeah, I don't know. It's especially hard because they had the athletes and her, and I want to see roasts. as a matter of fact, the best roasts are the ones that are not on Comedy Central. Like there are roasts of other comedians from like Skankfest and like festivals like that. Like there's a roast of Big J Okerson. There's a roast of Rich Voss. You can find these on the internet. Those are the best ones because it's only comedians. It's only like their friends basically.
Right.
And it's so there's a Patrice O'Neill roast. I think somebody maybe Colin Quinn or something like that. There are a bunch of roasts out there that weren't like big time on Netflix or on Comedy Central,
Yeah.
but you can find, and those are the best. Oh my gosh. I love roasts. They're so funny.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I got to watch the rest of it. There's obviously not much left, but I want to see the rest of it. I thought Bill Belichick was great.
He was
so here's
great
the,
for him.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean,
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
Like that's
right.
what I'm talking about with Kim Kardashian. Like I didn't think she was bad for whatever. What was anyone expecting?
You can't have high
You know what I
expectations
mean?
for any of those
It,
people, right?
I don't have high expectations. So I'm looking for one good thing to come out of that, right? That's all I'm looking for. And when she said, when she puts her glass up, she's like, I'm going to toast to you. I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell all my exes. Your best life is behind you. And I was like, that's good. I love that. That was really good work on her. And then she said something of, if we were dating, you would know, because I would have put out a tape. So good. That was good. Like that's good. That was really good. Make fun of yourself.
That's the thing. Like I think even the comedians that are doing it, there are writers, there are comedy writers that are writing a lot of those jokes,
100%,
even
yeah.
for the comedians.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get some good jokes, and that like shows you the difference, like why comedians, why delivery is so important for comedians and
Exactly.
timing and all that kind of
Yep.
stuff, because that's what separates them from everybody else.
Exactly.
Like you can have the same joke and Nikki Glazer can do it and Kim Kardashian can do it, the same exact joke, and it's going to be really funny out of Nikki Glazer and really not funny out of Kim Kardashian, and that's just the way it
That's
is
the way it is.
because of the way they do it. But anyway, yes, so that's an interesting part of it too. But some of the people like, do you think Tom Brady knew before that night who Sam J was?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, that's hard for me because I don't know how much he's into comedy. I don't know if you like comedy, you know who Sam J is.
I feel like you have to be a pretty big, like you and I know her because we watch a lot of comedy. Like we're into it. I don't know. You know, I feel like people know who Nikki,
It
like
sucks.
more
It sucks.
fringe comedy fans know
Yeah.
who Nikki Glazer is and maybe know who Jeff Ross is. They've been around longer, first of all.
Yeah.
But they've been bigger names for a long time.
Yeah.
Sam J still isn't a household name.
The guy that looked like a gay Italian or whatever they kept calling him, the comedian, I haven't seen him yet. Like, I haven't
Andrew
seen-
Schultz.
Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
no idea who Andrew Schultz is.
He does like,
Is he podcaster? Is that the whole thing? Does he do podcasts?
he does a podcast. He has a huge podcast, but he does theaters, and I think he's done arenas. Like that's
I don't know who he is.
yeah, he's I don't really, he's not really my style. Like he's okay,
Yeah.
but he's kind of huge now. Like a lot of the other comedians talk about him like he's giant.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you see the people that kept going? Like they had the exit for them to go to the bathroom. The people on stage, like right behind the podium.
Oh, I didn't.
And there are people walking back. Like some of those people were walking back behind there, and he was one of them. He's coming back out, and somebody was talking, and he looks out, and he's like, "Oh!" And he like pokes back behind the little thing until it was over. Yeah, it was weird that they had it like that.
Huh.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
good on Tom Brady, man. That's good on him. Good on him. I don't understand the stuff with Kim Kardashian. Why is Kim Kardashian getting booed out of everywhere? I don't understand.
yeah, she's famous for kind of not anything she worked for, but
How can you say that?
well, I mean, she was working on when she and Ray J were working on stuff, but
But she's built brands and she's
well,
she's a lawyer. And
after she's a lawyer.
yeah,
No, her dad was a lawyer.
I know her dad was. She took the bar exam and did all that. Yeah,
I never heard that.
she's She built a brand. Yeah, maybe she got started by being
became
Paris Hilton's assistant.
she became
But
well, but she became famous because of people in her family, and then
yeah,
her
but
mom
she
her
but
mom released the
whatever,
tape.
all that stuff is fine. She built a brand. She built a company. She's got a she like you can say whatever you want. She had to work to do all that stuff. It's not like she just
Mhm.
made a sex tape and is like, I'm gonna make millions because I did that. No, she legit has to. You had to do something after that.
I don't doubt that
Did she
she's.
use that? Sure, she used the. But why? That doesn't mean that she doesn't. She never did anything. I
She,
can't stand that.
I know, but she was
It
already.
irritates me.
But she was. There's no doubt. I'm sure she's done a lot of work, and is probably a hard worker. There's no question she had different opportunities because she was already rich and already kind of famous
Okay,
because of who
that's
her
fine. But
family
she
is.
changed the way that, like, she changed the way people make money. Like advertising on social media, that none of that started with Kim Kardashian. People were paying her to have a Sprite can on her on her Twitter feed or her
She was the first
Instagram or
one.
whatever. That's where that started. Well, the and she built a brand off of that and started making money off of that. Then people were sending her makeup, and she was doing makeups. And then she came out, and then her sister came out with her own stuff, and she came out with this bodysuit line or whatever. Like you
Mhm.
still had to work to do all that. She had to put time into all that stuff and built something
Sure.
of it. She still had to do that stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe she got opportunities. She shouldn't be held accountable for that. Because her dad was a famous guy that was friends with OJ Simpson. I'm not holding that against her or saying that just she took advantage of something she had in front of her. Everybody does
I
that.
would have done the same thing she did.
Exactly. But then I
It's
just don't
just,
understand why people hate the Kardashians.
yeah, you don't
Yeah,
have to hate.
the whole thing about
It
the
was
whole
way
thing about
easier for her than any regular person.
the whole thing about well, they're famous for doing nothing. I mean, that's not true. No, that
Right. Her.
maybe the show that you watch you feel like is that way, but I get that. But people watch it. People want to watch her family. If I can make money off someone just following me with the camera, why would I not do that? 100%.
Yeah. I mean,
And then I'm going to build on top of that and start business after business after business and grow every one of them. She's like, I don't understand why it doesn't make any sense. Take advantage of the opportunities you have.
yeah.
Everybody does that. I feel like it's more jealousy than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge part of the culture. It's people like to people like to tear down people who are doing well. It happens all the time.
That stuff
I don't know.
irritates me. That gets on my last nerve. I don't know why. I don't even
Yeah.
like the Kardashians, but I feel like I have to
I don't.
defend them constantly.
Yeah. I feel like you have a few times on this
I
podcast.
don't. I don't even know why. I'm not a fan of any of them.
I'm not either, and
Maybe
I'm not
Chloe. I
like
do like
a
Chloe.
hater or
I
anything.
like
Yeah.
Chloe.
I
She
mean,
she hooked
they're
up with Lamar. She married
stunning to
Lamar.
look at, but besides that, I don't care about anything they do really. Yeah.
I just don't like the whole. They've done nothing. They're famous for nothing. Like
Yeah.
guess what? Guess what? They wouldn't be famous then.
Well, yeah.
They wouldn't be famous. You're not famous for nothing.
A big part of the reason they're also famous is because of how they look.
Okay, that's
Right.
not nothing.
Well, but they didn't
okay,
do anything.
Okay, so Kathy Ireland, Cindy Crawford. So they're famous for nothing. I don't
Right.
like any of them.
Now,
They're famous
we
for
we
nothing.
we had a different culture when they were around because they're in their late 70s now.
What I'm saying is because they were beautiful, that's why they were famous.
I mean,
They're
they got
models.
really lucky. Yeah, they got really. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I'm sure you have to do to learn how to be a model and take care of yourself, and you have to do stuff for that too.
All I'm saying is those people like that, people models don't ever get the same crucifying words towards them like the Kardashians do.
Well, most models are just
Well, one of them
are
is a model,
models. I mean, they're all kind of
but they're
models.
famous though. The famous ones. You just said they're famous for nothing. Those people will then, or then I say, well, not for nothing. Well, they're mostly because they're the way they look. Okay, well, that's what a model does. But nobody gets down on them. Oh, well, Kathy
But
Ireland
all the
was.
models aren't like overly rich because of all these other things
Oh, you mean
they can do.
Oh, you mean like the models right now who have every single opportunity
don't know
on
any
all
models
the
now.
Instagram and all the
Well,
other
like
stuff out there?
Instagram
That's
models.
how they make their money.
But are they famous? I mean, I guess I don't know. In some circles, they're famous. I don't know.
And
it's
that's
hard
how
for
they
me
get
to-
rich. That's how they make their money.
Sure.
So
The Kardashians are making money like from a bunch of different angles,
exactly.
but they all but I'm saying, but it all stems from their parents were famous and they're really attractive, and that's a bit like that catapulted that makes everything, making all this other money doing all these other things and getting these opportunities a lot easier than it is for 99.9% of other people. And I think that's why people are a little have that jealousy.
I feel like you're just assuming that it makes it easier. I
How
don't know.
would it-
I
how
don't.
would it not?
I don't. I mean,
Like if you tried to start a small business now and you tried to start a business and make it grow because you want to get rich and make as much,
sure.
how much harder is that going to be for you than for
No.
somebody who's
I understand
already
that.
famous
It's still
and already
sure.
rich?
Maybe
They have I
getting
guarantee
started
they
would
have
be easier.
Tons of
That's
people
fine.
working for
I'll
them.
give you that. It would be easier to get started. And they do have
that's all I'm
people that
saying.
work for them, but they still have to do all the stuff to make it happen.
They're not. I don't think anybody's. I'm certainly not. I don't think anybody's saying they only lay around all day and don't lift a finger and don't talk to anybody.
No.
I don't think
It's
anybody's
the
saying.
famous. It's the famous for doing nothing. I can't stand
That's
that.
just a blanketed
And
statement.
then
I
it's
don't think-
it's easier for them because they had things handed to them. I mean, they still had to do it though.
There's no question of that.
That's fine, but they still had to do it. Lots of people get things handed to them and they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
That happens with a ton of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. Why am I defending the Kardashians?
I don't know, and I'm not I'm really only trying to say because you're so defending them. I'm like, well, but I think that's why I think that's what these people are saying. I don't care.
This is, you know how many times this has happened to me where I get in this about Kardashians because there's something about that where I think it's
feel like I'm
because
trying to help you balance.
I think it's because if I had all those opportunities and I started making killer cash, I'd be like, screw you guys. What are you mad at me for? I'm taking advantage of my opportunities. Same exact thing anyone else would do. Don't be jealous of me. So that's my thing. I think that's my thing.
Care anyway.
I think that's my thing. I don't think people don't like the Kardashians. I think it's a mask for the jealousy they have. Don't be a jealous person. Don't be a jealous person.
It's a part of human nature, and I there's a lot. We get into a big long thing about that. We already did, but we could get into an even longer thing. No,
this should have been over 20 minutes ago.
That's what we do. This is
how we end every podcast.
No, this is a segment that we now have.
Every week.
I don't know what to call it, but it's just the
one-off. It's the one-off.
One-off
It's
end
the
of the
one-off.
podcast segment.
Stay tuned for the one-off. You want to listen, we'll go through some stuff and talk, but you want to hear the passion come out? Wait until the one-off comes out.
After the comedy segment.
Yes, wait until the one-off segment comes out where we don't know what it's going to be about, but if we bring it up, there's probably some passion behind it.
As soon as you think we're gonna say, don't forget to turn your headlights on. Strap in.
I got to pick a comedy.
I gotta pick a Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore, Kardashian.
Now I got all kinds of topics.
Not Kardashian Jenners. There's a ton of them.
Is there?
There's a lot of Jenners too.
I feel like I only actually I've heard
Brody Jenner. Do you remember Brody
heard that
Jenner
name.
from MTV? The O or
No, I don't know about
what was that called back when we were like high school, college? It was called I can't remember. We've got to do Cat Williams.
Catherine Williams.
We're doing it for sure. 100%.
So I just saw a thing today. Speaking of that, I'm writing down Cat. Cat on Shannon Sharp's podcast said a billion things, but one of them was talking about Kevin Hart, and he said 20 years and you never seen Kevin Hart and I in the same building. Like he talked about how you've never seen the two of them in the same building. Like, why is like it sounded like accusatory, like Kevin Hart's avoiding him for some reason or something like that. The Netflix is a joke festival was just this past weekend or whatever, and every giant comedian was there. She was on somebody's podcast and she was talking about that. She told that story. She's like, we were all hanging out. Cat was there. Kevin Hart pulled up. Suddenly, Cat's gone. Didn't see him the rest of the time. Interesting.
They're the same person.
They're the same person. They have to be. They're
Mhm.
exactly the same
Yeah.
size. There were a lot of there were some really funny. I feel like I thought I heard every Kevin Hart
Short joke. Oh yeah.
There were a couple of them that I thought were really.
Oh, when
especially
Nikki Glazer said, "All right, I'm gonna keep this Kevin Hart,"
I lost it.
I started laughing, and I look over at my wife, like, you gotta think, and she was like, I love the delay laugh. I love that when you gotta think about, like, what is she talking about? Keep it short. Huh? I'm gonna keep it short. Oh, I get it.
It's so funny. God, that was good.
And God love Kevin Hart, dude. He loved it. He was good. He loves that stuff
It
too.
was really good.
But too many F-bombs. Like, I was
Yeah.
done with it.
Well, he not too long after the thing started because he
He even
posted,
said I was drunk.
Yeah, he's like,
You
I'm
shouldn't have
starting
gave. Yeah, sorry, I talked over you.
No,
there.
no, no. I was just
Netflix
agreeing.
shouldn't have me be the host and give me booze or something like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I just started. The best is when he would just towards the end, and he would walk up there to say a joke, and he just put his head down and just start laughing like, "This is so hilarious." I'm sorry. I apologize. I got to give him props. That was so good.
One of my favorite things about roasts is when somebody makes a crazy joke, like a really over the line joke about somebody,
Yeah.
and they laugh so like you can tell when people are just laughing or when it's a genuine like hard laugh.
Yeah.
I love that when especially like because Kevin Hart can take it and he's like
Oh yeah.
somebody says something like crazy about him and he's like
When he
can't stand up straight. He's
when
like
he
laughing
stood
so
up
hard.
and like almost fell over laughing. That was
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. So good.
yeah. And Nikki's been getting props all over the internet,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Because she was the best, the funniest person there. Mount Rushmore. I feel like I want it to be comedy related.
Okay, because it could be Kardashian Jenners. I'm fine with it. I can give you my Mount Rushmore.
I only know 3 or 4.
No,
of
you
them.
don't.
I've heard names, but I don't know anything about most of them.
All right.
Like I know the
four
4 girls
or 5 girls.
5. Okay, there you go.
There's Courtney's the oldest, then Kim, then Chloe, and then Kendall and Kylie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then Rob is an actual Kardashian, not a Jenner.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know any of the guys, I think.
Well, he's really the only one. There's a few guys that were Jenners only that came from Bruce from a previous marriage.
Yeah.
And
that's true. And then there's one that's both one of the guys and one of the girls.
Yeah, that's her. And she got roasted too, though. There was so much. You got to say some of that stuff Kim said about her, about Bruce was good. That was good. Those were good jokes about Kendall. What's her name? Caitlin.
Yeah.
Those were good jokes. Those were good.
Okay. Yeah. See how I want to do like
Oh, Bert Kreischer. I forgot to say the Bert Kreischer Tom Segura segment, worst of the whole thing.
yeah.
That was terrible.
I was surprised at how bad
It
that
was so like read the script. It was so bad. And then they kept going. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Like, you guys were terrible. Why are you apologizing? You weren't even close.
I don't care for Bert Kreischer very much as a comedian, but I feel like if Tom had a chance to write his own roast jokes and go up and do a roast set like a normal one, like anybody else, he could have been really fun. But that's not what they did. Yeah, they
I was so bummed out
yeah.
about that.
He didn't even look like he was
Like he wanted to be there.
wanted to be there. Yeah.
Did you see when Tony came up there and just started going pow, pow, and just walking down the line, and he stood directly in front of Tom Segura and ended on Kreischer and didn't say anything about
Oh,
Tom
didn't
Segura, who was at the end, and
realize
was actually just standing in front of him. Like Segura kind of like moved off to the side once. I thought that was weird. I was watching, like it just seemed weird,
Yeah.
real weird.
You would
And
think they're friends too.
and
They're both
Segura's
in
been getting
Austin.
yeah, Segura's been getting a lot of bad pub lately.
Really?
Yeah, with his like stuck up kind of attitude towards things.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I get that. I think I know what you mean.
He's had some things come out where he's been getting some bad pub.
Hmm.
Like the way that he talks about, being on a flight and just, if you're, I've got all this and I've got this and I'm this and I don't care about you and that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Anyway,
Okay. Yeah.
I
Well,
just saw a couple things on the wire.
gotcha. Well, we'll cancel him too, and then he'll still be funny like everybody else. But
No, I feel like anybody that's been canceled, they've all came back outside of, I don't know, Carlos Mencia.
yeah, that's yeah. He's not alone because he was never funny. So I mean, that's why he's not back.
He was funny. He just used everybody else's jokes.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan ruined his career.
Yeah.
He just like killed it in
Don't
2000.
mess with the most powerful guy in
That
God.
was in 2007, like
I know.
2014 or something. Like there was like it wasn't even the same then.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. See, here's what I want to do. But this is going to take so much. This would take so much research. Neither one of us have time for that. I was going to say roast sets.
Oh man.
But I mean, you kind of have to. I'll bet there's a. You know what though? I'll bet there are YouTube videos of like a compilation
Oh,
of those
100%.
maybe even
100%. You can see Jeff Ross, Lisa Lampanelli, what's her name's got them. I mean, she's done probably about 6 of them now, or 4, at least 4 or 5.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Nikki Glaser?
Nicker Glazer has. So, yeah, there's a lot of them.
Nikki.
Nikki, I don't get it.
It sounded like you said Knicker Glazer.
Nicker Glazer, Snicker Glazer,
hard CK on that.
Knickerbockers.
The New York, yeah, Knicker Glazers. Man, yeah, that would be. See, that's what keeps coming to my mind, but that would be a lot of work. Let's do something.
Why
simple.
not the we could do the Mount Rushmore of roasters.
Mount Rushmore of roasters.
We can do that.
Yeah, yeah. That or the Mount Rushmore of who you would want to see roasted.
Want to see roasted?
Mhm.
Okay. Like on a big one. So I heard that recently, within the past year, I think there was like a roast of Pete Rose somewhere in the city.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to be there.
Yeah. I wonder if he's not ever worried about anything.
He doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
What does he care about? I mean,
right.
it came out that he straight up said, well, I didn't know she was 16. I thought, what did he say? I didn't know she was 16. I thought she was 17 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
When they came out about some lady that he was boinking back in the 70s, he was like 36 and she was 14. That's what it was. She was 14. He goes, well, she said she was 16. It's like, that doesn't make it any better, Pete. What are you doing, man? Shut up. Guy's got a memory like a steel trap, though, dude.
Yeah.
And like an elephant, dude.
And that really makes it okay, I think. I feel like.
Listen, here's the deal. I hate Pete Rose. Pete Rose is a terrible human being. I love Pete Rose, the baseball player. I love him. It's unbelievable. I'm sure like Ty Cobb was the biggest jerk in the entire world, but you gotta love what Ty Cobb did on the field, right?
Yeah. That's right. He's no Tony Gwynn, but yeah. I'm going Roasters.
Let's
Let's
do it.
Mount Rushmore of roasters.
Roasters or people we would like to see roasted.
I think let's go roasters. The people who are the best. And here's the thing. We can do it. We can do that based on roasts that have been done that we've seen, or people who are, if you just know about comedians who are the funniest at roasting their friends or anything like that. Like, I think that counts.
I don't watch enough podcasts
if you,
to know.
yes, that's yeah.
That's okay though. I'm
But
fine with it.
but if you,
I'm gonna go
come
with
across it-
roasters on like Comedy Central roasts and stuff like that, like Lisa Lampanelli and Jeff Ross and
Let's
stuff
do
like
that.
that. Yep. Okay.
Comedy roasters. Yep.
I'm gonna find the best person that wasn't a comedian. I'm gonna find a really good non-comedian set.
I'm sure there have been one or two.
I mean,
It was not Ludacris. It was not
I'm not who did Ludacris? Oh, was Ludacris the Justin Bieber one?
Justin Bieber. That was the one that was like the most people who should not have been, like, I feel like it should be people that know the person well.
Justin Bieber and Ludacris apparently are decently close. Like
Oh,
they've
yeah.
done multiple features
Maybe-
together.
Yeah, maybe, but I feel like there were Hannibal Buress did that roast, and he's like he
But he's a comedian, so I
was-
feel like any comedian can do the roast.
I feel like, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like any comedian can.
I mean,
Do you
that's
think
what you
Nikki Glazer pays attention
you
to Tom
want.
Brady?
I think she knows Tom Brady pretty well. Not like personally, but I think she's very aware of. I mean, he's so famous.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? But
I
don't know.
mean, that's like who
You at least have to know who the person is really well.
What
You know
was
I
it?
mean?
What
You
was
don't know
the
person.
Couture? There was like a Fox News anchor on one of the on the last roast.
Oh yeah.
Was that the Bieber one too?
There were a few,
And it was like, why is she like all and
The lady
they
that everybody hates.
lit her up,
yeah.
and she looked like she was miserable. Why is she?
Yeah.
I don't understand why she was there.
There
was a bunch of football players on there that did not go up, right? Like,
Right.
did Matt Light not go up?
No.
Okay. Like, there was a lot of guys I feel like didn't.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just trying to think. There was it Marley Matlin, maybe a famous deaf actress was at one of the roasts. I can't remember whose that was now. And everybody was like tearing her apart about being deaf and everything. But she was laughing the whole time. But I think there was
She laughed because everyone else around her's laughing, so she just did it because she couldn't hear anything.
I think she could read lips, and I think there was a sign language interpreter or whatever.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm pretty sure that there's not signs for a lot of the terms that these people use.
There is for everything. I saw a podcast recently. I wish it was a full-time job to watch podcasts. But on on Take Your Shoes Off, Rick Glassman. Rick Glassman, do you know Rick Glassman?
No, I just laugh at the
Okay.
names of these
Take Your
things.
Shoes Off podcast. If you knew him, you
Fly on the wall, take your shoes off, nosebleeds.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to name stuff.
Yeah. The bonfire, like
But Moshe Kasher,
Moshe, I remember.
He was on, and I had no idea about that, but both of his parents were deaf. And so he, at a really young age, was fluent in sign language. And so he had a bunch of jobs early on in life doing sign language interpretation and teaching it and all kinds of stuff. And he had a bunch of really good stories about that. And I mean, I won't tell any of them now, but it was really, really interesting how like ingrained in the sign language industry he was.
Yeah.
And like so much stuff about that. It was really interesting. And one of my favorite things to do at anywhere is watch a speech, a concert, watch a sign language.
During when the pandemic was out, we talked about it all the time. My girl, dude, that was the girl that did the sign language for my man, Ohio's governor.
Fauci?
For Ohio's governor.
Oh yeah.
That lady that did that, she would get real sad, and then she'd be all up in it, and and I'm like, this girl's speaking to me right now. I watched her down in the corner. I didn't even listen to the old boy. I just watched her. She must have been 60 something years old and not I wasn't watching her for how she looked. We'll just put it that way.
She brought that energy.
He brought that energy, dude. And then they had somebody else that, like, if it was a real long speech, they bring somebody else in halfway through it. Like,
Yeah.
he's tired, dude. You gotta bring in the reliever. My girl needs some water, dude. She needs a Gatorade. You know what I mean? And they bring this dude in and he just sit there with his hands. And I'm like, this dude sucks. Where's my girl?
I'm sure I told that story about the at the NBA All-Star weekend.
Absolutely. Yes.
What's his name? Jelly Roll concert.
Jelly Roll concert.
That was amazing.
I would love to do those. That's so great. You recorded it and sent it to
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Right. I forgot about that.
so good. So good. Love a good interpreter, especially when they're sign language interpreter. All right. So I think we have everything, right?
We do. Our next topic is about headlights. Let's
Oh,
talk
good.
about
Turn your headlights on.